So let's just applaud the attorneys from the Capitol Habeas Unit and Richard Ellis, Melissa's lead attorney, and of course Vanessa Potkin and everybody at the Innocence Project. This is one of the avenues that there has been to stop this execution. That's through the legal process, right? What is missing here are the people who are passing the buck, most notably Cameron County District Attorney Louis Science, who has the power unilaterally to just withdraw this execution date, to bring the case back to Cameron County, to look at it again and realize there's no evidence, there was no crime, there's no reason for this to even be happening. So the idea that we're going to go through months or years of more legal process, again, is ridiculous. But it's been 15 years. And a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, a three-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit Circuit Court threw out this conviction. Three judges said this conviction needs to be thrown out, this death sentence needs to be thrown out. The state appealed to the full en banc review of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which voted 10-7, so pretty split, to reinstate this death warrant and this conviction. And then the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear the case. And then they set a date. And it's really outrageous and frightening and should concern everybody in Texas that it takes getting to this point before you can actually even get anybody to pay attention and look. Why should you have to have an execution date when we already knew that there had been evidence, this film that was created by Sabrina Van Tassel, The State of Texas versus Melissa. Anybody can watch it on Hulu, anybody can watch it on Amazon, you can go to your public library and watch it for free. And that lays out all the evidence for everybody to see that doesn't want to read mountains of documents, okay? But you can read those documents. On the petition at freemelissalucio.org, there are links to the documents. So anybody can read what the filings are and see for themselves what's out there. I mean, the most egregious bombshell that nobody's even talking about yet is the fact that the doctor who treated Mariah and declared her dead in the emergency room is not the doctor who testified as such at her trial. The actual doctor that declared her dead and examined her said in one of these declarations in the appeals that he saw no evidence of child abuse. Her injuries were consistent with a fall down the stairs. So that's what we're looking at, is an opportunity to look at everything, but we don't, it's the passing of the buck. And we call on Louis Science, again, Melissa does not need to spend another day in prison. She should be freed today. Obviously, if we have to be patient, we'll be patient. I can tell you that I just had a phone call from John Lucio just a few minutes ago, and he and Michelle, John's wife, are elated with this decision. I'm told everybody in Gatesville is crying. We know that there's going to be a celebration inside the prison right now, and we also know that there'll be a celebration with the family outside the prison tonight too. We're going to pack up and head to Gatesville and be there when John and Michelle and Bobby come out from their visit, and so there'll be more opportunity there. Also, we'll be having a live press conference by Zoom probably this evening once everybody gets a chance to settle down, and you can hear from the families of from John Lucio and Michelle and Bobby, and also Sabrina Van Tassel and Sandra Jonas, who are close friends with Melissa's, and they were visiting this morning as well. Other questions?
I would like to ask a human question. You talk about going to Gatesville. I mean, this has been a caravan. 16 cities across the country protested in support of Melissa Lucio this weekend. You have people behind you from all across America, children, people who've made their way. I mean, you all aren't paid to do this. This is a passion project. Yesterday, Robert Alvarez described each of you as family to him and his siblings. What does this mean to you?
I have not always opposed the death penalty. And it is in trying to prove that the death penalty works that I found out I was mistaken. And that's what it means to me is that it's a tease. It's a tease because we still don't know if there's actually going to be justice here, because it's so incredibly difficult to have new evidence brought in or a fresh look at evidence after the conviction's over. But I will tell you, I'm running a group called Death Penalty Action as a former supporter of the death penalty, and there's other former supporters of the death penalty standing behind me and all over this country who say we can be safe from people who've done horrible things and hold them accountable without executions. It's what we do in the vast majority of cases. So when you have a case like this, I mean, last week we executed a cop killer who was 79 years old in a wheelchair with pneumonia and other ailments. That's no danger to society, right? Does he deserve to be incarcerated? Sure. But when you look at the words carved into the face of the U.S. Supreme Court building, which are equal justice under law, and if you believe in that ideal, and you examine the legal system as it presently exists and as it has forever in this country, we know that what matters more is race and money and politics and geography. And we know, see, Melissa's co-defendant, the other parent in the house that was also neglectful when Mariah fell down the stairs, he got 4 years. Why did he get 4 years and she got death and they're equally culpable? It's all a roll of the dice. Who's your attorney? How much money do you have to hire an attorney? Does that attorney have conversations in the elevator or the back stairwell with the judge and the prosecutor? All those things are real concerns that everybody ought to have. At the end of the day, Armando Villalobos, the prosecutor at the time, needed a win because he'd had a loss and he's running for re-election. And what better win do you get than putting a baby killer on death row, right? He went to prison shortly after that conviction. So Louis Sines is still standing on the conviction of his corrupt, in-prison predecessor. And he really still, we don't need any more court action. We need Louis Sines to withdraw this execution warrant, to withdraw these charges, and to free Melissa Lucio.
And then can I get this gal from Austin just before we wrap up?
Sorry?
She's been the local organizer in Austin.
Yes.
Can you identify yourself with your first and last name?
My name is Maggie Luna with the Statewide Leadership Council.
You had tears today.
Yes. I'm still holding back tears.
Why?
Because this is such a bigger fight, you know, for women who have suffered with addiction, who have children they cannot take care of. And instead of helping this woman, we failed her. And she is just like the epitome of injustice in Texas right now. I mean, every system, from CPS to the legal system. Her husband got 4 years. And I mean, it just breaks my heart that we didn't care enough about her and the other children that are living to even do any deep dive into this. She was disposable. And at one point in time, I was disposable. You know, on paper, I look bad. But I'm not that person. And, you know, we all deserve Melissa to be here. We need her, just like I've done some bad things. But if Melissa was out here right now, she would be a great gift to this world. And I'm happy to see a glimmer of hope from Texas. I cannot believe that it took this to do the right thing. So it's really intense emotion for me right now. And I'm so grateful that she gets to rest tonight and know that she has another chance.
Thank you.
Jennifer, did you have words as well? You stepped right with Melissa a long time ago. How are you feeling at this moment?
Yeah, so I know Melissa personally. I did time at the Mountain View unit, and you know, I tell Maggie all the time, because we're close friends and we're in this fight together. It's felt like that they were going to do this to her. So this is a deeply joyful moment, and I want to echo what she said, that there is a glimmer of hope in the state of Texas to finally start doing the right thing. We are so grateful to the media for your coverage. Thank you so much. You've been a huge integral part of getting her story out, the real story out, and to all the legislators that have stepped forward, all the brave legislators from across both aisles to come forward and say, this is not right. This is not who we are as the state of Texas. These are not our values, and Melissa deserves a fair trial, and her family deserves to be heard. So we're just so grateful, and it is deeply emotional, and I'm just so thankful for the court's ruling and for justice to be done.
May you spell your first and last name for me, please?
Yes, ma'am, it's Jennifer, Jennifer. My last name is Toon, Toon.
And when did you serve with her in prison?
I served in the Mountain View facility where death row is located. I was also incarcerated at that facility.
I'm just trying to, the span of time you spent.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It was from 2010 to 2018.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
What's next?
Well, I want to talk about that, but first I want to introduce Charles Keith. Charles Keith is the Impacted Communities Liaison for Death Penalty Action. He comes at this as the brother of somebody who was 13 days away from execution in Ohio, and also as a murder victim family member. And he has traveled, we've been coming to Texas and to the Rio Grande Valley and to Cameron County and to Brownsville and Harlingen since January over and over again. Charles has been with me on all but one of those trips, and he knows this family intimately. He also is the kind of person who can look at John Lucio or Roderick Reed, and they know what each other is thinking about because they've all been there. Charles?
Hi, my name's Charles Keith. I'm from Canton, Ohio. I come down here to show support for Melissa Lucio. I am not surprised at this decision. I'm happy. I would have been terribly disappointed, but this is great. This is what I expected because I read the case. I went into the case. I read and watched the film. I said, if Texas sticks with this, then we have a state full of Armando Villaloboses. And you know, putting them in that corner, we've seen them step away from him and his work. That's what we're seeing. We saw the state of Texas come to the rescue of Melissa when they pulled that meeting together, when they went and prayed with her. I told my boss, Abe here, I says, hey, we've got Texas, those Longhorns, coming out to save Melissa, because just us, the people, couldn't do it. We've already seen the strength and power of the people. We have a voice, but we needed them to magnify it. They took our voice inside those buildings where we couldn't be there. They took those voices and talked where we couldn't hear them, but we knew what they were saying. And these are the results. This is the same thing that happened in Ohio with my brother. He was taken off death row once they realized the shenanigans and the underhandedness that you have to do to get a capital murder case conviction without definitive evidence. And that's what happened here. This is what happened in the Rodney Reed case. This is what happened in the Julius Jones case. How come we're having all these cases, and not to mention there's so many more, of innocents and innocent people? So we're hoping with this decision that the next time somebody comes up and has an innocent claim, everybody will be more receptive. They'll have that open ear, and they'll be feeling you with their heart. Love Texas. Thanks.
I want to just update you just a little bit. What we know is that the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals has just issued a stay of execution for Melissa Lucio and ordered the 138th Judicial District Court of Cameron County to consider new evidence of her innocence in the death of her daughter Mariah. And that means that Melissa is coming home. And what we know is that they don't need to wait weeks or months. They can do this hearing tomorrow. Yes. Magdalena Rosa Avila.
Buenas tardes. We're here to celebrate the hard work of a lot of people. It's been the legislators and amazing attorneys in the Innocent Project. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, Stone Mountain really, and I drove down here a couple of nights ago, and I've been speaking at rallies and talking about Melissa and writing to Melissa. And my family just sent me the most recent copy of a letter that I received from Melissa, which I've been getting about weekly. And so we've talked about her case, but every time that she writes, she talks about love of her family, love of people. She talks about her spiritual life. And we've been having a little debate about Mexican food. So this is her second defense of her favorite foods in Mexican, and she sent me what I've been after since we started writing together, is her recipe for fideo, which is a Mexican pasta dish. So I got it right here from Melissa if you want to see her words. And you know what we found, all of us who've worked on her case? She's a woman of love. She loved all her children. She's found her Lord. She believes in her faith. And when she talks in letters to me and others, she says how difficult it was for her to lose Mariah and that she wants to be reunited with Mariah again. This is a mother who loves her kids. In the letter before that, she said, I just want to be home and cook a meal for my family. When I hear about that meal, I'm going to go eat. Because this has been a movement of peace and of love. And Melissa is the best example of a good mother and a loving mother.
What's your name, sir?
Leno Rose Avila. Leno, last name ROSE, hyphen AVILA. And I just got to tell you, I've been working with this man since 1990 to abolish the death penalty. So I'm proud to be working in behalf of his organization.
Will you introduce yourself? These people right here are friends of Bobby Alvarez, one of Melissa Lucio's sons.
Hi, I'm America Leja. I am one of his closest friends. I'm just very happy that she is going to get this second chance, that my best friend's going to have his mom home. He hasn't had her for like 15 years, and he needs his mom. And I'm glad she's going to get a second chance. He'll be able to be with her again, see her again. He deserves it. They all deserve it to be with their mom again.
And lastly, we have Denise Palacios, who is an organizer and a friend of the families and a friend of John Lucio's and a resident of Brownsville in New York Grand Valley and Cameron County. Denise?
Hi, y'all. My name is Denise Palacios. I'm just one of many people who have been organizing in the Rio Grande Valley. Melissa is from the Rio Grande Valley, and we all gathered together because what happened to her and what happened to Mariah is something that could have happened to any other Rio Grande Valley family. And the way that her case was prosecuted is something that could have happened to any other Latino in the United States. Because we know that the legal system isn't working for people of color and isn't working for Latinos. I don't believe it. I can't believe it. I mean, it's crazy. We've been organizing for weeks. I mean, Mark, my friend here, he's incredible. I don't know. I have nothing to say. I don't know.
What you know is you've been part of a bit of a victory, you know, and it should not take a legal case for a person like Louis Sines, an elected official, to do what's right. And Denise, and where's Mark? Oh, Mark here behind me. These two people have been among the team in Brownsville that have been maintaining a presence in front of the district, the Cameron County District Attorney's Office, the administrative offices, the courthouse there, day in, day out. And I want to give a shout out to Susan and Rochelle, who are there right now. And, you know, and we've encountered, this is how John encountered Louis Sines and had a chance to have a conversation with him. So, you know, it is, this campaign's not over.
We're going to continue fighting for Melissa. Yeah. And as a Cameron County resident, we call on other residents of Texas and people across the country to continue pressuring District Attorney Luis V. Sines, because he knows that he has the authority and he has the power to end this and bring her home, to ensure that she is back with her family, because she is an innocent woman. And every day that she is in jail, every day that she is imprisoned, there is injustice. And we need to make sure that there is justice for all, because this is why we came here. This is why we live in the United States.
Play again in Spanish, please.
Sí. Voters are watching.
Woo! In Spanish?
Delivering a Spanish-speaking TV here. Yes.
Okay. Pues estamos, no podemos creer la noticia. Hemos estado organizando. Mi nombre es Denise Palacios, soy una organizadora del Valle del Río Grande. Mark también está aquí, que es del Valle del Río Grande. Melissa va a regresar a casa. No nos lo creemos. Esta corte tomó una decisión para dar la oportunidad a Melissa que ella dé su que tenga un free trial, que tenga tal vez un oh my God, un juicio justo. Va a tener la oportunidad de tener un juicio justo tal vez y pues no sé, no nos la creemos. Venimos desde Brownsville, tuvimos una vigilia anoche, estuvimos ahí desde hasta las 6:30 de la noche, y pues nos venimos del valle hasta acá y llegamos a Austin a las 2 de la mañana, así que estamos muy contentos con todo esto. Y pues le pedimos a la gente de Texas, a la gente del condado de Cameron, que sigan llamando al fiscal del condado, porque él tiene la responsabilidad y él tiene la autoridad para dejar que Melissa regrese a casa hoy mismo. Y es lo que esperamos de él. Así que muchísimas gracias. Y muchísimas gracias a ustedes por estar dando toda la información sobre este caso.
Anybody else want to say something?
Free Melissa Lucio! Free Melissa Lucio!
Free Melissa Lucio today. Thank you all very much.